After 20 years of marriage and 20 years in fitness, I was about to lose both. What happened next didn't just save my marriage, it created a movement that now is transforming hundreds of women's lives. And it all started with one desperate prayer on a Monday night.
December 2009, my husband was deployed with the Army to Iraq. I had a 3-month-old daughter and a 2-year-old son the first time that he deployed. I know what military life is like. This was not the military. This was business, and our marriage was hanging on by a thread. Same fights for 20 plus years, same patterns, same walls. I was a second grade teacher turned fitness professional. I owned a successful gym. I was helping women transform their bodies every day, but I couldn't fix my own life. I had two choices: file for divorce or try something radically different. So I made a decision that seemed completely unrelated to my marriage problems. On January 4th of 2024, I was going back to church. Not for him, not for the kids, but for me. Whether anyone came with me or not, I was still showing up. So there I am, every Sunday at church. Then they announced this series called More of God. 4 weeks of inviting God deeper into your life. They offered a 21-day Daniel fast. I'm a fitness person, right? I thought, great, another nutrition experiment. But they also had Monday night worships and prayer. I went by myself every single Monday for a month. Every Monday, I asked for the same thing. God, I need guidance. I need strength. I need honesty. I need a miracle. Meanwhile, my husband is in Germany having his own breakdown, literally texting me Christian music overseas. He was at the point of dangerous thoughts, realizing that he needed to show up differently for his family. When he came back, we went to Italy together. Best week we've had in years, even though neither of us knew where we stood. Then we came home and our church announces that there was a marriage conference that very next weekend. The timing felt intentional. God works like that sometimes. After the conference, spring small groups were starting. My son, and this is crazy, my son had done this program called Freedom the year before. It's 12 weeks of dealing with trauma, shame, guilt, pride, unforgiveness, all the baggage that we carried. And he said, Mom, you really need to do this group. So here I am. I'm in this Freedom group for 12 weeks with 10 other women completely broken. I noticed something that changed everything. Every conversation somehow came back to their bodies. I'm ashamed of how I look. I hate myself for eating that. I can't even look in the mirror. I feel disgusting. These women were doing deep spiritual work, dealing with unforgiveness, releasing shame, and healing from trauma. But nobody was connecting it to their physical health. Week after week, as they prayed for me, the same message kept coming. Jamie, you're going to have a breakthrough. We see this coming for you. And that's when it hit me. I'd been helping women change their bodies for nearly 20 years without addressing why they hated themselves in the first place. The fitness industry teaches us that our bodies are problems to fix. But what if they're temples to honor? What if the shame, guilt, and trauma these women were healing in freedom was the exact thing sabotaging every diet and workout plan they had ever tried? So I had this crazy idea. What if I combined everything I knew about physical transformation with the spiritual and emotional healing I was personally experiencing? I called it Sisters in Strength. I had no curriculum. I literally used ChatGPT to help me figure out how to weave scripture into workouts because I felt completely unqualified. But I felt this pull, like God was saying, just try it. Spring of 2024, I offered it to my existing clients. 6 weeks, $99. I thought maybe 10 women would sign up. 19 women joined immediately. And here's what was different. They didn't just want to lose weight. They said things like, I want to feel like my faith and fitness can work together. I need community with women who understand I'm tired of hating my body. The program was rough. I printed handouts week by week. I had workouts written in a notebook, but something beautiful was happening. Then my church offered to make this an official small group for the following semester. And here's where it gets crazy. At our church, small groups fill up fast because everyone wants certain leaders and certain groups. We set Sisters in Strength up for 20 women, thinking that was pretty generous. 2 minutes after registration opened, full, with a wait list. We're looking at each other like, what do we do? So we expanded it to 30. We filled those spots in 10 minutes after adding another 5 spots to cap at 35. All of these spots gone immediately. 37 women total to include my co-leader Brooke and I. But here's what convinced me that this was bigger than fitness. Week 1, women were crying during discussions. Week 3, they're asking if we can keep meeting after the 12-week ends. Week 6, we want to run a 5K together. Week 12, nobody wants it to end. One woman told me, for the first time in my life, I'm not at war with my body. Another said, I finally understand what it means to be fearfully and wonderfully made. A mother shared, my daughter asked why I stopped saying things about my body in the mirror. I realized I was finally modeling what I wanted her to believe about herself. Summer comes. Half the women are like, we don't want this to end. But Brooke and I needed a break, so I condensed this 12-week curriculum into 6 weeks for the summer. I trained 8 excited women from the original group to become leaders, and we branched out. In my kitchen, I trained these 8 women on how to facilitate Sisters in Strength. Now, we had 4 groups running simultaneously with over 100 women participating. But here's my favorite part. Our young adults group. The last week of that current session, there was a young adult event at the church the same night that we usually meet on the turf. We were kind of panicking because our space was taken, but the young adult director walks up and says, this is amazing. I love working out and I would love to bring this to our young adult ladies. Now we have Saturday mornings dedicated to these ladies, having Sisters in Strength sessions available for the young adults. Seeing the transformations are amazing. Physical transformation, the weight is off and it's not coming back. We are not fighting shame anymore. Mothers, stopping the cycle of the shame of their daughters. Women, understanding that their bodies are temples for the first time. Marriage is improving because women aren't holding back from their husbands anymore. One woman was literally in a jail situation who now says she has something to live for. Another woman stopped avoiding intimacy with her husband because she was ashamed of her body. These aren't just fitness transformations. These are whole life transformations. You want to know what happened to my marriage? The one I almost walked away from? When I stopped trying to fix everything myself and started surrendering to God, when I learned to extend grace to myself, everything changed. My husband and I went through that freedom program together. We learned to communicate differently. We addressed 20 years of patterns that weren't working. And my business? I thought by adding faith it would limit my audience. Instead, it's expanded everything. Churches are calling, asking how they can bring Sisters in Strength to their communities. Women are driving from other cities to participate. Pastors are seeing women transform in ways that they have never seen before. Because here's what I learned. You can't separate physical health from spiritual and emotional health. When women understand their identity, that they're fearfully and wonderfully made, they stop punishing their bodies. When they have real community, not just workout buddies, but sisters who pray for them and with them, they stick with healthy habits. When they approach movement as worship instead of punishment, everything changes. So here is what I want you to know. If you're struggling with your relationship with your body, if you're tired of every diet not sticking, if you love God but don't know how faith and fitness fit together, you're not broken. You just haven't found an approach that honors all of who you are. Here's your homework this week. Before any physical activity, even just walking to the mailbox, pause and thank God for your body. Thank Him specifically for the legs that carry you, for the arms that serve others, and for a heart that beats without you thinking about it. For a body that houses your soul. Then move with gratitude instead of punishment. Tell me in the comments, what would change in your life if you truly believed your body was a temple worth honoring instead of a problem to fix? And if you're thinking, Jamie, I need this approach in my life, stick around, because what started as a desperate prayer on a Monday night is now a movement. And we're just getting started. Your body isn't your enemy, it's your temple. And there's a community of over 100 sisters who've learned to treat it like one.